I'm Kelly D, and I'm really excited about bringing today's recipes to you. Now, this was inspired by a Russian fish dish called Coulibiac. But I'm going to change things up. I'm going to switch out a few ingredients, play around with some measurements, and I'm going to bring to you Coulibiac Bajan style. So, let's go over the ingredients. We have one side of salmon. Now, I absolutely love salmon. You will understand why they call it king salmon, king of the sea, because salmon just tastes so good. But if you don't have salmon, you can use either dolphin or mahi-mahi or billfish. But if you can get salmon, I highly recommend it. Now, I'll have the salmon already cut into some smaller fillets, which we're going to go into a little later in our recipe. Then we have 2 cups of mashed potatoes, already cooked, already mashed, just ready to go. We have 3 cups of spinach. We have puff pastry. Now, I have another recipe on my channel. I'm going to link that one in the iCards and also in the description box below where we're using puff pastry. If you can't make puff pastry, you can always purchase it from the frozen department in your supermarket, but we're going to use some puff pastry today. Bajan seasoning. We absolutely must have Bajan seasoning when we're making this Coulibiac Bajan style. About 3 tablespoons of Bajan seasoning. We have half of a sweet pepper chopped, half of a small onion chopped, some spices, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of curry, and 1/4 teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning, 2 tablespoons of oil for sauteing, and 1 egg to make our egg wash. A pinch of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. Now, our first step is to prepare the fish. Now, I would have added some salt and lime juice to the fish for a few moments. Now, I'm going to add our Bajan seasoning. We're going to put it all over the fish. We're going to rub it, and then we'll allow it to marinate for about 10 or so minutes. Now we're going to get ready to prepare our spinach. So we're going to put some oil on. We're going to saute to make a nice spinach bed. We're going to saute. So we're going to add the oil and allow that to get hot for about 20 seconds. So while that is happening, you're going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 275 degrees because we're going to get ready to bake pretty soon. So now that that is hot, we're going to add our onion, and we're going to add our sweet pepper. We're going to allow it to saute, and we're also going to add our spinach. We're going to add our spices now, and then we'll allow everything to saute for about 3 to 4 minutes. We're going to add our salt and pepper just to kick up the flavor a bit, and then our spinach bed will be ready. Our spinach bed is almost done, but you could be adventurous and add a bit of Bajan seasoning at this stage, but that is totally optional. Now we're going to go on to the next step. Our final step before assembling our Coulibiac is to prepare the puff pastry. So we're going to get your rolling pin out. We're going to get an area on your counter where you can flour it. And we're going to roll our puff pastry out as we prepare our Coulibiac. Our elements are now ready for our Coulibiac Bajan style. We just need to assemble them. So we have our puff pastry already rolled out, looking good. We're gonna add firstly some spinach for our spinach bed. Now just a tad bit of spinach. We're gonna put spinach to the very bottom. Not gonna put too much. You know, spinach is great for iron, so you need to get your spinach in there. Then we're gonna add some salmon just on top, and to top it off, we're gonna just put 1 spoonful of mashed potatoes right on top. Well, no, we'll use 2 on top of the spinach, covering it nicely like that. And then we're going to wrap it together. Now we're going to take the egg wash and we're going to cover the very edges, because when we get ready to cover the puff pastry, we want to make sure that it stays together, and the egg wash helps it to stay. So we're going to cover it now, and then we're going to take the other end, a nice little pocket, and allow it to stick down. As we won't need all of this, we're going to just cut off the excess. We'll find something to do with that. And we'll press this down. And just for the finishing touches, we're going to just put a little design. So we're just going to roll off this top section. And we're going to put some slits all the way down. It doesn't have to be uniform, just once we have some nice slits. I'll show you how it's going to look. This is going to be the top of our Coulibiac, and it would look like this. And we're going to take this and we're going to cover the top. You put some egg wash right on the edges just to ensure that it stays. Now you can use a fork to get an even fancier design. As we're doing a fish dish, we'll make it look like it's the fish tails. So now we have our Bajan Coulibiac. And we'll allow this to bake. Now we're going to get ready to put our Coulibiacs into the oven, but I'm going to do one final step. I'm going to just wipe the tops with some of the egg wash. That is going to assist with the color as well as keeping everything intact. And then we'll allow it to bake for about 25 minutes or until it's nice and golden brown. Then it will be time for us to taste. Our Coulibiac Bajan style is now done. We kept it in the oven for about 35 minutes. They're nice and cool. Now it's time to taste. I think I'm gonna just try this one. They're nice and cool. Salmon encrusted in pastry on a bed of spinach. Coulibiac Bajan style. Now let's taste. You know, just to look at that, we can definitely see the spinach, there's salmon, and we can see our cream potato. Now it's time to taste. King salmon encrusted with puff pastry on a bed of spinach. Coulibiac, Bajan style. So good. No, don't take my word for it. We'll take it to the streets.
This is really good though. Alright. This is amazing actually. This is amazing actually. Yeah.
Amazing.
Now you need to try it.